Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Kristina Cubillo Santos. Most of you here know me already, and if you don't know me that well, I hope I get to know you better at some point. Today's workshop is a Qigong workshop and mental imagery. And I don't know how many of you actually have Qigong experience or have tried Qigong in the past, or maybe have tried Qigong even with me, especially if you've attended some of my public classes or some of my teacher trainings. I started practicing Qigong in 2013 when I attended Pacific College of Oriental Medicine, and I fell in love with the practice immediately. I had a yoga background in the past. I also practiced martial arts as a kid. And East Asian philosophy and East Asian medicine was always very dear to my heart. And Qigong as a practice is an integral part of Chinese medicine. Just like Tai Chi, which is a more popular style that majority of people have heard of. Tai Chi is more of a movement practice for health and longevity of the body, the tendons, the ligaments, the muscles, and the bones. Qigong has many different styles, just like Tai Chi and yoga. However, it is more of an internal practice where we're cultivating our energy sources so we can live longer, better, and even reverse aging. So the different styles of Qigong differ in the way that it can be a meditative practice with mental imagery and guided visualization. It can be a movement practice such as the 5-animal Qigong or the 8 trigrams Bagua Qigong. It can be a Qigong where we're focusing on healing the body, such as medical Qigong, which can be practiced in person or distance-wise. So for today's practice, we're going to do a little bit of movement just to open up these energy channels, which in Chinese medicine we called meridians. And through these meridians, our vital force or Qi flows. And so in order to get into the state where we can give our body and our mind more suggestions and connect with the divine source with more ease, it's essential to open up these energy pathways first in the beginning stages of your practice on a physical level. And then when we're opened up in our body in these energy channels, then the mental imagery can come with more ease. And so I'll start first with a little bit of movement. We'll do some shaking, we'll do some tapping, and then we'll start with the basic Qigong style that I practice regularly, and one of my teachers practices in this way, and I resonate with it a lot because it uses mental imagery. So this style is very meditative. Some might say it's static. So we're not using large movement when we're doing this type of Qigong. There is also Qigong practice called the 6 healing sounds, which uses sound and imagery to move energy and to heal internal organs. I've taught that many a times. I even have some videos on that on my YouTube channels. So I definitely encourage you to check out my YouTube channels, youtube.com/Taodharma, and I'll put it in the chat as well. So let us begin by standing, and we'll do some shaking just to shake up all of the stagnant energy that most of us carry throughout the day. And even though it's early morning here in New York, depending on where you are in the world, you can do this even at the end of your day, just to shake out all the cells and all that pent up emotions that may be stagnant in your body. Okay, so let us begin. I'm just gonna move a little bit away from the camera so you can see my body fully. Okay, let me actually turn on the light. so you can see even better. Good. And then we'll start with feet together, and then step your left foot out. And then here, start to just gently shake your body with the arms dangling by your sides loosely. So you don't have to hold your arms and shake them like this. Imagine as if there's a vibratory force from the earth or from around you that is allowing you to shake like this. So let's shake it out for a few breaths. If you need to sigh it out and be vocal and release any pent-up emotions or stuck energy in your throat, you can go ahead and sigh it out. Last one like this. Good. All right. And then from here, we'll tap the channel. So we'll start with a right hand. It can be open palm or a soft fist. And we'll tap on the pec major, our chest muscle here, and then going down the anterior portion of our arm into the palm. The yin meridians of the arm, because we have the meridians running from our legs, or from our face down to the legs. We have the meridians running from our torso into our hands. We have the meridians going from the fingertips up to the face. And we have meridians going from the feet up into the body. So I want you to understand that each of the energy channels have their pathways flow. So the yin channels, the yin meridians of the upper body of the arms are running from the chest into the arm and into the palm and the fingers. So we'll first open up the yin channels, and then we'll flip the palm down, and the yang channels are running from the fingertips up the arm and into the head and the face. Okay, so let's start here. Tapping down the anterior portion of your forearm, tapping the lung, the pericardium, and the heart channels here. And if there are certain points that feel a little bit more tender on you, especially around the elbows and the wrists, do stay there longer, because there is a tendency for the energy to get knotted in this area of the body. And then flip the palm down. So we're going on the posterior aspect of the arm, tapping the yang channels. So we're tapping the large intestine, the sanjiao or the triple heater, and the small intestine channels here. Going up the elbow, this is a very good spot to linger a little bit, because these points are called the Husky Points, and that's where the energy gets stuck a lot of the times. So opening up this area of the body to allow the energy to flow freely, and going up, 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 up over the shoulder, and then go to the other side. So tapping over the chest, which is where the lung meridian begins, in the armpit, and the lateral portion of the chest is where the heart and the pericardium meridians begin. Now, these meridians also have internal pathways, meaning deeper pathways that go to the internal organs as well. And we're tapping down the lung, pericardium, and heart. And then we flip and we go up the large intestine, the sanjiao, the triple heater, and the small intestine channels. Tap, tap, tap. And again, here at the elbow crease, I feel quite a lot of tenderness. These points are used very often in acupuncture and acupressure and in our Qigong practice, as well as our medical Qigong for healing. Good. And now we go to the anterior aspect of the body towards the groin, towards the inguinal crease. And we'll go up the abdomen towards the rib cage, up the rib cage. And we have many different channels that run on the anterior aspect of the body. And those are the spleen and the stomach. And we have the Ren channel, which is the conception vessel here. And as we're tapping on also the kidney and the liver meridians, as well as the spleen meridians, they all run on the front of the body. So we're going up and really addressing all of those channels simultaneously. You can be vigorous with your tapping without hurting yourself. And go to the upper chest, towards the throat. There's a lot of points here in the throat area. And then the face as well. So during the spring season, when the allergies start to flare up, there's quite a few points here on the face that we use in acupuncture and in Qi Gong to treat allergies, sinus congestion, even headaches. Though sometimes it's best to treat headaches away from the head itself, because when we put too much energy into the body part that is already experiencing too much energy, such as like a headache, a throbbing sensation, it might be detrimental to actually treat over the head. We're going down, 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 down. And towards the posterior aspect of the body, your hands are cupped, so the fingers are not separated, the hands are cupped, and this is going to preserve the energy, especially as we're tapping the area around the kidneys. In Chinese medicine and Qigong, we believe that there's a vital essence, our ancestral energy that is stored, harnessed in our kidneys. So preserving our kidney function, getting out of our overly activated sympathetic nervous system, which keeps us going, and it taps into our adrenal glands. We're always on that overdrive, adrenaline rush. We are taxing our kidneys, we're taxing our vital energy, which causes faster aging, illness, and disease. So we're tapping down the posterior aspect of the body, the back of the glutes, the thighs, the back of the knees. The back of the knees actually have a point which is a command point of the back. So if you have certain back problems or pain, this is a good area to tap to unblock the energy that can rush then into the low back. We're going down the posterior aspect of the calves, and then top of the feet, then inside the feet. And we're going up the inner legs. These are the spleen, liver, kidney meridians. Up the inner thighs, back to the groin, and we'll shake it out, shake it out. That's it. Very good. Now the next portion will start to actually move and engage in visualization. This type of visualization or mental imagery is to tap into that universal consciousness, the divine essence, this brilliant, healing, white, silvery light. One of my teachers, she also says, you can also tap just into the emptiness of the universe. Just tap into the information. So we'll first trying to visualize the silvery light, okay? And I'll guide you through the entire technique. And we'll take a seat, we'll communicate a little bit, and then continue on, okay? So feet are hip-width apart, arms are by your side, not tight and completely straight, but really nice and loose and opened up. Your armpits have some space for the energy to flow. We just opened up all of these channels. Your knees are soft, so they're softly bent. The tailbone is heavy, so your low back is actually open and not overly contracted. And the reason for that is because, like I said, there is this vital energy in this area of the low back that relates to the kidney. And over the spine, there's a point at the level of second lumbar vertebrae, which we call do 4, okay? So in these points, we're visualizing the vital essence that we're born with becoming stronger, okay? So that's why we want to keep this open space here as opposed to bringing the tush back out, okay? That's why posture is very important. Nice and long through the spine. So the central channel here is really open, and the top of your head, imagine as if it's a little floating balloon or someone's pulling you by the string at the top of your head. So there is this push and pull, pushing with your feet into the earth to connect you to the Mother Earth that we are all occupying in this moment in time. And then this pull towards the heavens, towards the universe that connects you with that divine source. With the arms gently hanging by your sides, you want to visualize as if you have little weights on your fingers. So your arms are heavy, your shoulders are heavy. There's a weight on your tailbone as well. There are small weights on your elbows. So as your arms are slightly further apart from the body, you feel heaviness through the elbows, through your fingers, through your shoulders. And now we begin first using the movement. So the palms face forward. You start to lift the arms up as you inhale. And don't worry, your breath may be faster than the movement, but I want you to move slowly. So you'll probably have a few inhales and exhales as we do the movement. And as the arms reach up, you slowly start to bring the palms back in towards the center, palms facing down towards the ground. And then as you push the palms down, you're actually energetically pushing in towards the earth, softening through your knees. That's it. And then the arms sweep out again with the palms facing forward. And you take that deep inhale. And as you inhale, you're also lengthening through the knees as if you're lifting yourself up towards the sky. And then the palms go back in towards the center line as you exhale, pushing the energy down towards the earth, bending the knees a little bit more as you do this descending movement. Good. And then let's do that again. Now, as you inhale, I want you to try to visualize your intention and your attention and awareness going from your head down that central channel and going into your chest. So become aware of your chest, and then inside your heart, on the right side of your heart, there is a silvery, shimmering, sparkling light. And you're aware of this sparkling, silvery, shimmering light inside your chest, inside your heart. And as you're breathing and as you're moving ever so slowly, you start to see that light slowly expand through your entire body. Your entire body is now sparkling with this shimmery, silvery, healing white light. And then send that light out from the body, out into the universe. And visualize that light like waves expanding and enveloping the entirety of the known and the unknown universe. And it is this silvery light, it is this silvery healing light that is your connection to the divine. You always want to be working with the divine essence when you're working with energies. There are many different levels of existence, there are different realms, And when people practice magic or black magic, white magic, it doesn't matter. We are creating more karma for ourselves, right? Because all of that type of work costs us something. So when I work with energy, and this is why I love Qigong, because Qigong is a pure level of consciousness that we're working with. And by slowing down our brain waves, we are more able to program ourselves to handle these outdated programs that we've become accustomed to through acculturation, through living in a specific culture, living in a specific country, or even a specific neighborhood or family. So all of those programs have been instilled in us from when we were little kids, and some of these programs have been carried over from our past lives as well. So as you see this silvery white light shimmering out inside of you and outside of you, you feel this peace and connection to everything that is. You may visualize yourself now standing on Earth, on the planet Earth, doing this movement. And with that white light that's spreading through your body and outside of you into the entire universe, start to visualize a bowl of light sitting on top of your head. And this bowl of light now goes into your brain and down through your entire body, making that picture of the silvery shimmering light even stronger. And see that silvery light going all the way through all of your internal organs, through your legs and through the soles of your feet, growing like little roots, a tree root growing from each of your feet into the earth and going into the center of the earth. Keep moving the arms like this. And as you connect your roots to the center of the earth, start to visualize the energy from the earth going back up to the surface of the earth and filling up with energy all life on this planet, all plants and animals and other beings, and obviously us humans. Everyone is being recharged by this beautiful energy from the center of the earth. And that energy is going back through those roots into your body, through the soles of your feet, going up your legs. So now let's bring the palms up towards the sky. Inhale. And that energy is growing into your body, going back up through the crown of your head. I want you to visualize a stream, a cord of silvery white light that is shooting directly up to the universe. Exhaling, pushing the hands down through the center line. And like a waterfall, this silvery cord that's growing through the crown of your head is now starting to wash over your entire body. Breathing, arms go up through the center line and exhaling down, pushing down. And as you're visualizing this waterfall flowing over your entire body, see yourself in a cocoon of this silvery, shimmering white light. And then inside of that is a golden radiant light that now is mixing with the silvery light inside your body. So now you're vibrating with the silvery and golden light. And you might start to feel that you're more calm. You might start to feel your hands tingling. This is energy moving through your body. And the more we tap into these states, the more we can actually manipulate the mental imagery. So we can use it for healing. We can use it to see ourselves look differently. We can use it to project our image into the future and to see a better version of ourselves, maybe a healthier version, maybe a version that is more confident, has great self-esteem. And so we'll do the standing movement for a few more breaths. Just staying here, feeling yourself in this cocoon of silvery white light mixed with golden light, and your entire body is buzzing. Good. And then after this, we'll do 3 collecting the chi, and then we'll take a seat, and then we'll do some more of this type of imagery, but seated, because you can do Qigong seated, you can do it standing, you can do it moving like this. I like to move in the beginning just so people start to get that tingling sensation in the hands, okay? Because that physical sensation is what most of us need as proof, right? That something's happening, that something's going on in the body, that it's not just our imagination, even though our imagination is one of the best things we can use to also shift energy. So sweep the arms out to the side and up towards the sky, inhaling. And as you exhale, all of that gorgeous energy that you collected, the silvery and golden light, push it all into the lower abdomen, the space between the belly button and that L2 low back space, and visualize that radiant ball of light. All of the energy harnessed from your entire body is now a ball of light sitting there in your abdomen, grounding you. 2 more times, inhaling. And then exhaling, pushing all of that energy from your entire body into a ball of radiant light in your abdomen, right between the belly button and the low back. And last one like this, inhale and exhale. At this time, bring one hand over the abdomen, bring your left foot in, other hand on top of the abdomen. We'll do 3 circles from the left lower corner of your abdomen, up transversely across, then down the right, and then again 2 times, and then 3 times. And then we'll reverse that. So from the right side corner of your abdomen, up and transverse down the left and around. 1 more after this. Very good. And then just stand here, breathing into your palms. Feeling yourself more centered, feeling yourself completely rooted, grounded into the earth. At the same time, feeling the connection to the universe and that divine essence or universal consciousness or Christ consciousness, whatever you feel comfortable calling it. But it is the source of the creation of everything. It is not certain false gods. There are many, many different gods, many different lords, and many different planets and realms, astral planes. And we're not working with that. We're working with the divine essence which created everything, which created those other planes as well, which created the lower planes as well. So by working with that source directly, you're able to stay within that divine grace instead of being pulled in all directions and all types of supernatural forces that may actually be taxing your physical, energetic, mental, and soul level. Okay? Now let us sit back down so we can talk a bit about these concepts. And as you see what I was saying, that Qigong is a pure practice. It's a practice that's been around for thousands of years, if not more. And when we work with other types of energies, when we work with magic, when we work with invoking spirits, there is a danger that we're opening up portals and energy pathways for other things to enter and latch onto us and steal our energy. This is why sometimes we feel really bad in the presence of certain people. These people may be called energy vampires. Sometimes certain people are not even aware that they're doing it because maybe they have certain energy latched onto them that are causing them to just want to suck the energy from other people. Sometimes these energy vampires are cognizant of what they're doing. They know they have to feed by being around other people. And so I encourage you to do these types of practices to cultivate your own energy and your own connection to the divine source. So then from that state, you can create the life that you want, the life that you're meant to have in this incarnation. Whether you believe in reincarnation or not, it is part of my belief system, so I am teaching it as such. And definitely in Buddhism and even in Judaism and in some forms of Christianity, there is this belief that if our life's path was not fully completed in one lifetime for whatever reason, we will come back to work on those things. And so when you look at your life and when you see, I spoke in my email and on social media about wanting to improve your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and get out of this feeling of stuckness in your life. When we feel like that, these are like little triggers, like little warnings telling us that we need to work through those things in this lifetime so we can have a level up for our next life, or if this was one of our last lives, to completely clear our karma and baggage. And so by doing this type of work, we're clearing our outdated programs. And so I'll give you an example of a patient of mine. She came for spiritual alchemical acupuncture, and she really, really struggled with feeling like an imposter in her own life. She works as a healthcare person. I'm not going to divulge more information than that. And she's good at her job, but she just felt like she wasn't good enough even in this type of job. And I asked her to go back in time and try to identify one of the first events in her life where she felt like she wasn't good enough or like she didn't belong. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. If you are feeling lack of self-confidence or if you have low self-esteem, I want you to go back in time and try to identify one of the earliest memories that you may have where you felt like you weren't worthy enough, that you weren't confident enough to maybe speak up. And going back to the example of my patient, she distinctly remembers she used to play a flute in school. And there was an event. She couldn't remember exactly what age it was, but it was definitely a grade school age, where she was supposed to be on the stage and perform with her entire school. And she freaked out and she sat in the chair the concert was about to begin, and she just felt so overwhelmed and so as if she didn't belong, even though clearly she was invited to play, and she left. And so the way we can shift the energetic imprint of the past events in our life, and sometimes through deeper work, we can even tap into past lives. But in this life, I asked her to reimagine that whole event. And what does that mean? So visualizing the exact scene where she was at in that concert hall with the chairs, the way they were, trying to really remember every detail of that memory. And then instead of her walking out and running away, that she actually played, and that she felt such joy from it. And there was applause in the audience at the end of the concert, and that she felt invigorated and confident and so good that she actually played. And so we're not able to change what happened, right? But we are rewriting the energetic imprint that is associated with that particular event or those particular events. And by changing the energetic imprint, we are changing the way the energy flows, because time is not linear. When we look at quantum physics, and Qi Gong taps into that, Chinese medicine taps into these ideas that quantum physics is actually talking about nowadays. These are actually types of information that ancients were quite aware of. So now, when we look at the realm of quantum physics, we can understand that time is not linear, that the past, the present, and the future are all happening at the same time. This is all an energetic vibration. And we're creating these lives and these stories within this non-linear time-space continuum, right? And so if we change the vibration, the energetic imprint of the past events, we can then say that we are changing the energy in the now and the energy in the future as well. So I want you to think about one event first, and then change that imagery. Change that imagery. So for instance, I had a certain event when I was about 18 years old. I was at a party, and I just don't like the consequences that came after hanging out at that party and hanging out with the people that I was hanging out with. And so I first went into my Qigong practice. And the reason why I encourage you to first do this visual imagery of bringing your attention and your awareness to your heart space, going into that silver light first, and then spreading that silver light into the rest of your body and outside of you, and tapping into that universal consciousness and that shimmering silvery light that is divine essence reverberating throughout the entire universe, is because that will bring your brain waves to a state where you can then tap into these fields with more ease. And then the mental imagery work will become more potent because you're not in a state of stress. When we're in a state of stress and we're trying to visualize or create mental imagery to create a better life for ourselves, This is why things don't happen, right? So if you're just telling yourself, oh, I'm confident, I'm gonna fake it till I make it, and outwardly you're showing confidence, but inwardly you know that you're not confident, things in your life are not going to shift, because that energy, for the people who are sensitive to the energies also, is visible, right? It's palpable. So the fake it till you make it can work to an extent, but really finding peace within yourself and connecting to all of the living things on this planet and in the known universe, all the things that are within the divine realm, is how you can really cultivate these deeper states of consciousness that will allow your imagination and your visualization to bear fruit and change the physical aspects of this reality that we're living in. This is why there are a lot of analogies of the matrix, right, or the hologram. There are many, many different schools of thought, just like there are many different Qigong practices, many different schools of thought when it comes to mental imagery. I've also worked with the Silva mind method, mind control method, because they've actually done studies that have proven that when we are projecting our image out into space and we're actually looking upwards a bit with our eyes closed or open, if that is easy for you to visualize, we are projecting 6 feet in front of us a mental screen, okay? And so for some people, this may be easier to visualize, a mental screen projected 6 feet out in front of you. And it's a huge mental screen. Think of a 60 or 70-inch flat screen TV even. And you're looking slightly upwards, about 15 to 30 degrees upwards. With your eyes closed, you might start to feel your eyes doing that rapid movement, that rapid eye movement, REM, right? That is an indication that you have tapped into that alpha state that is more conducive to hypnosis, this type of energy work, and mental imagery, okay? And so with your eyes closed, you look upwards above the horizon, 15 to 30 degrees, you project a mental screen in front of you. And I want you to start usually with the simplest thing. Let's say the skin or hair is a really, really good example to practice this. And then you can go into more deeper aspects of the imagery, like I mentioned, to change certain events or the energetic imprints of certain events in your life. So let's say you want your skin to be less wrinkly, or you want your skin to be very smooth without any blemishes. You project the mental image of yourself in front of you on that screen, and you see the image of yourself the way you want to look, the way you want your skin to look, the way you want your hair to look. And you focus as much as you can on the details of that image. And in the beginning, I'm going to be completely honest, it's not really easy to visualize these things, but this is why the practice is ongoing. I say, do it for a few minutes every day. It's good to do these practices. You don't have to do an hour and a half every day. You know, we have to be realistic that we're not living in a monastery on a mountaintop. We're not at a retreat. We actually chose to live a life that is busy, where we're interacting with others. And because of that, our mind is a lot more active, and it's much harder to get to these states of mind where we can connect to the divine source. So it's good to start with just a few minutes a day. And then as you progress, it will be very easy for you to tap into these states even within a few seconds. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't meditate for an hour if that feels good. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people say that they're meditating or doing these types of practices, yet their mind is still going. Nothing is changing in their life. And I'm no master at it myself either. I've been practicing for many years. I've had other practices since I was very young. I'm lucky enough that I've chosen the parents that I've chosen that have guided me in certain ways and opened up doors for me to be able to explore on my own, and then find the right teachers in my life to guide me through these types of practices. So even in a busy city like New York City, where I live currently, or if you live in another big city, it is much harder to do these practices. So it's imperative that you start with a few minutes a day. And this is why I love Qigong so much, is because it's such a simple practice. And then the mental imagery aspect is just an add-on, right? If you're having a difficult time visualizing things, because I know some people have told me that they just can't visualize, or if they are trying to scan their body or project the image of themselves, they just, for some reason, they can't do it. All they see is blackness. I have an exercise that can strengthen your visual imagery, right? The mental imagery. So I like to say, all right, pick a fruit that you grew up with, a fruit that is very common for you. So in this part of the world and in my country, we have a lot of apples. So I know a majority of people know how an apple looks like. So I'm going to use an apple as an example. If for you that's some kind of tropical fruit like a banana or something else, by all means, use something that is very familiar to you. And then I want you to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, you visualize that fruit in your hand. So I'm using an apple as an example. You see this apple in your hand and see the color of this apple. Is it a green apple? Is it a red apple? Is it a yellow and red apple? Just see that apple as vividly as you can inside your hand. And then inside your hand, you start to move that apple and look at it from all sides. And notice, does it have little freckles, any blemishes? How does it look like in your mind? And then try to feel the heaviness of the apple in your hand. Actually feel the heaviness. In the beginning, you might just be like, oh, I don't feel anything. This feels like I'm holding air, right? Because you are. But if you can really try to remember the heaviness of an apple that you held in the past, try to project that image now into your hand. And then the next step is for you to go and smell that apple. And by using more than one sense alone, you are creating more of a vivid imagery. And with that, when we are tapping into all of our senses to create imagery, that imagery is that much more potent. So as you smell the apple, you take a bite of that apple and you taste that apple, and it's nice and juicy, and you feel the juice of the apple in your mouth, and you hear the crunch, right? So by immersing yourself in this imagery, you're creating also neural pathways in your brain that will make this faculty stronger for you. Okay? So that is the basic premise of how you can strengthen your mental imagery. And then going back to the Qigong, like I said, it is important to do this work by connecting, always connecting to the divine essence. And if you want to reinforce it with prayer, because prayer is extremely powerful, but behind the words needs to be a feeling as if that's already there, right? So the prayer to begin even more of mental imagery, so you can ask the divine source for what you want, is to ask for the creator of all to bring your brain waves to the level that is most conducive to your spiritual growth and to prepare you for prayer. And then you say the prayer. So if that is that you want more self-confidence, right? You are sending this message out into the universe as if you're already confident. So you're saying to the creator of everything, prepare me for this prayer. Make me confident in my body, in my mind, in my soul, so I can be in perfect harmony with you, the divine source, creator of everything. Because the creator doesn't want you to feel pity, doesn't want you to feel bad about yourself. These are programs that we've accumulated through lifetimes or this lifetime. And then you do the mental imagery exercise, right? So first you connected to that silvery white light, you sent out the light into your body, into the rest of the universe, and then you can project the image of yourself standing there confident, doing whatever it is that you wanted to be doing. So if you identified the event in the past or several events in the past that may have caused you to feel inadequate in your life, in your career, in your relationships, going back to the beginning of what I was saying, go back in time, visualize what had happened, and then change that imagery completely. So if it was you always feeling lonely as a kid because your parents never gave you the time of day because they were working a lot, and because of that, you developed this notion and this feeling as if you're not good enough for attention, you're not good enough for love. You don't have that confidence, and maybe your love relationships are suffering because you just feel unwanted. You don't feel good within yourself. So then I want you to change that imagery and go back in that time when you were a kid. And first, there's an understanding that for the most part, our parents do the best that they can with the programs that they have, right? So instead of blaming them for the wrongdoing or for the life that they have given you when you were little, start with compassion, knowing that they're also human beings living out their karma, living out their dharma, their path with the programs that they've had, maybe because of their family, maybe because of their karmic baggage, maybe because they've had entities that have latched onto them and have depleted them of certain energy sources, whatever the case may be. In your mind, don't concern yourself with what they've been through. but visualize as if they've given you exactly what you needed, as if they've given you the love the way you wanted to receive it, and really project that image out into the space, see it as clear as day. And then notice after you're done with that, notice how you feel. A lot of people tell me they just feel like there was a weight that lifted off of their shoulders. And so I'm not saying that, right, you're changing. Again, we're not changing the events. We're changing the energetic imprint of those events and how that energy affected us. And in turn, as you change it, you will change how you feel in the present, and how you feel in the present will open up new pathways for the future. And certain schools of thought also believe that the decisions that we make, when we're at crossroads, right? You maybe in life you can take this path or that path, right? That based on the choices that we make, we are creating different realities out there. But this is not the only reality here, right? This is not the only earth here. But there are parallel realities based on the choices that we've made. And so this universe, or multiverse, as quantum physics is explaining, is very, very complex. But the practices in their natural state are actually very simple to do. However, it takes practice. Most of us are constantly seeking new knowledge, information, this book, that lecture. Been guilty of it, because I'm also constantly searching for that connection to my true essence, to my connection to the divine. And when I forget that it's already there, that I don't need to be searching so much externally, things in my life start to shift. And when I'm so focused on the external content, consume, read, listen to all the different teachers, all the different schools of thought, it's a jumble of ideas, it's a jumble of energies. And also what we don't know is what are the programs that these other people and these other teachers are carrying with them. So I like to go to the people who have done this type of work, especially Qigong and mental imagery for decades, because then I'm able to really, really feel energetics more tangibly, right? And it is just amazing when you're in a presence of someone who does this work regularly, because your energy can shift just by being in the presence of someone like that. That's why when you go to monasteries or temples, there is this sacredness, this sacred feeling, right? This connection to the divine that is just almost instant. And you don't need to be religious to be doing these practices, right? I say divine, I may say God. You don't need to use those terms, but it is the energy that created everything that we want to be tapping into. And these techniques of mental imagery have been given to us by the Creator, because what is creation, right? What is creation? Like, creation is an idea, a thought pops into your mind, and then you have the tools to make it happen, or you create the tool to make it happen. Some of the most famous inventors in the world, like Tesla and Da Vinci, spoke about having downloads or seeing things in their dreams and then creating them in the waking state? Did they talk about meditation? Did they talk about the divine? I'm not sure, but we do know that some people have that innate ability to tap into that universal consciousness, that energy that created everything. Because what that is information. And by tapping into that information, you might have a picture in your mind. You may have a thought. You may have a word, a sound pop up, because we all have certain faculties more developed than others. And mental imagery is one of the greatest tools that you can use, because everything around us is visual. Even blind people can visualize things. Even if they were born blind, they can still visualize things. So that is extremely cool, for me at least. And so I'm going to close with this. And if you're interested in working more with this type of energy, or with these types of techniques, I encourage you to reach out to me. I do work with people one-on-one, and one of the biggest joys that I have in life is when I see things in people's lives shift for the better, when they've been able to move past certain programs and certain things that have been keeping them stuck in their life. If you enjoyed this, please shoot me an email back so I know that you've watched the replay. And you can always reach out to me on social media as well, on Instagram, I'm on YouTube. And I hope to see you again in the following workshop. And if you have any requests for the type of knowledge you might want to learn, if you want to learn more about Chinese medicine or 5 elements, let me know so I can create a workshop and pass on this knowledge that I've been so passionate about for many, many years, and has been an integral part of my life, my practice, and it's just changed me for the better. I am a way more calm person. I am way less reactive to situations and people in my life. And it's just been an amazing journey of growth. And don't get me wrong, I have days when, things are not going as well. But again, my reactions to those things not going as planned or not going as well as I thought they would or could, are less extreme. And when our reactions are less extreme, then our energy is less extreme in the negative sense. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you learned something today that you can implement into your own personal practice. And I'll see you in the next workshop. Have a beautiful rest of your day.